This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, I'm Bill Schiavi at SJTPO. I am the project manager for SJTPO, and at this time we're going to let everyone introduce themselves. Just would like to remind you that the meeting is being recorded right now and will be available for listening later on online. So next to me, Chad.
Good evening. My name is Chad Martin. I'm with KCI Technologies. We're on the consulting team with Envision, doing the traffic analysis for this study.
My name is Adam Baginski. I'm with Envision Consultants and the consultant project manager for this study.
Hi, my name is Natalie. I'm from Envision Consultants. I am assisting with the public outreach.
I'm Sean Cooney. I'm also with Envision Consultants, and I am the project administrator.
My name is Tom Dutcher with Envision Consultants, and I'm Deputy PM on this job.
Okay, very good. Just to, by way of introduction, just going to make a few remarks and then let our presentation begin. The Infrastructure Investment and Job Acts emphasized the need for the transportation network to support economic development, which South Jersey residents have consistently rated as one of their top priorities for the Regional Transportation Plan. Therefore, SJTPO has been working toward a multimodal transportation network that contributes to this economic development. And we're currently integrating freight planning into our transportation planning process. So far, we've been an active participant in the statewide freight planning efforts. The statewide freight plan was completed recently, but that focuses on like the statewide network, the roads and so forth. However, we have a need for regional and local freight planning here at SJTPO, something that will support future local transportation infrastructure improvements just for our area. So we want to focus on the local network, the local rails and roads and so forth. Recently we completed a project that was a freight plan data gathering and analysis study in 2002 in preparation for this plan. It gathered data and did some analysis, and it performed some analysis of the network. This current project, which is our plan, is utilizing that information and other resources to produce a freight plan for our region. So the current project is going to involve supplementing the data that we have so far, some additional analysis. It's going to identify locations and issues and prioritize potential solutions in the form of projects, technologies, and potential policies to address the freight issues. So we're going to do a presentation now. Adam is going to, the project manager is going to give us a presentation about the planning process that we're in the middle of right now. Take it away, Adam. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bill. So as a brief introduction, agenda overview for what we're going to be discussing in tonight's meeting. Right now, we are going through the introduction. We'll give you a brief overview of the SJTPO Regional Freight Plan, followed by an outline of the plan schedule, what to expect from the plan. Following that, there will be an interactive session where participants will have an opportunity to participate in this meeting. Along with that, if you are a participant listening to this at a later date on recording, as long as the recording is active, you will also be able to participate. So again, if you're listening to this at a later date via online recording, you will be able to still participate in this, and your participation will be noted in the plan. And then we'll finish the night by talking about next steps. So as a brief introduction, this is a regional freight plan. And the first question we thought would be good to discuss is, what is freight? Best definition we could find on the Oxford Languages is that freight consists of goods transported in bulk by truck, train, ship, or aircraft. So really with freight, we're talking about bulk goods, not passenger transit, as is covered in a number of other planning methods. And in South Jersey in particular, we're talking about the freight network that allows bulk goods to travel to, within, and outside of the South Jersey network. As Bill mentioned, this plan really started the IIJA. It emphasizes the need for the transportation network to support economic development. And here in South Jersey in particular, economic development, we're talking economic vibrancy, how to grow, support the local economies within the SJTPO region, and ultimately working towards that multimodal transportation network that contributes to the region's economic development and more so economic vibrancy. As Bill noted, as an introduction to the plan, SJTPO has been an active participant in numerous statewide freight planning efforts. Previous to this study and incorporated in this plan, there was a regional freight plan data gathering and analysis study, which was completed in 22 and provided the foundational data collection for this study. So while we have done some additional data gathering, the foundation was rooted in the 2022 plan, which is available on SJTPO's website. And the ultimate objective of this is the development of a regional freight plan grounded in good quality, well-documented data that makes well-supported recommendations on the identified network. So as an introduction to the SJTPO region, which we are referring to specifically, the SJTPO region is the 4 southernmost counties in New Jersey, so Salem, Cumberland, Atlantic, and Cape May. SJTPO is the federally designated MPO for these 4 regions, responsible for regional transportation planning. And really, when we're talking about the freight corridors in SJTPO, I want to highlight these maps because the freight corridors within the 4 southernmost counties essentially are unique corridors that connect to regions outside the counties. While there is some inter-county networks, there is a strong Salem County freight corridor that exists along the Delaware River, I-295 and the Turnpike. Entering into Cumberland County, there is a strong set of freight corridors that follow Route 55, Route 47. And then in Atlantic and Cape May County, there's additional corridors that follow routes 40, 322, the Atlantic City Expressway, Garden State Parkway, and Route 9. While those freight corridors are general national or state highway corridors that provide access to the SJTPO region, this plan is focusing primarily on local roads, many of which serve as connectors to those corridors. Secondarily, and paralleling the majority of those corridors, there's also a strong regional freight rail network. There you have a corridor that exists along the Delaware River to the Port of Salem, down to Vineland and the Mobile area, and into Atlantic County towards Atlantic City and Pleasantville. Finally, there is a waterborne freight network that does exist within the SJTPO region, primarily but not exclusively centered around the Delaware riverfront ports in Salem County, as well as the new Windport construction in Salem. So that waterborne network primarily focuses on the Delaware River and Delaware Bay areas. As an overview of our project and what we were tasked with and what SJTPO has requested, there's 8 total tasks within this regional freight plan. Coordination administrative, which is just overall coordination. Stakeholder and public involvement, of which we have done both this current meeting, which is being recorded, as well as predecessor meetings with the Freight Advisory Committee within the South Jersey area. Next, there was a freight network data quality assessment, specifically looking at certain aspects of the predecessor data gathering study. Network and facility issues and analysis, followed by model policies and best practices, a list of recommendations and a prioritized list of regional actions, and finally, funding opportunities and a final report. When put together, these constitute essentially the skeleton or foundation of the regional freight plan. To cover progress to date, the plan is anticipated to be complete by May of 2024, with the majority of the draft freight plan completed by the end of February of 2024. As of December 23, today, we've completed the Task 3 Freight Network Data Quality Assessment, and we anticipate within the next 2 weeks to be complete with the network and facilities issues and analysis, as well as model policies and best practices relevant to XJTPO regional issues. Looking forward, we're rolling this into the entirety of the plan, specifically looking at the overall freight plan recommendations and prioritized list of regional actions, which Bill alluded to earlier. So to give a little bit more information on some of the work that has happened to date within the freight plan, within stakeholder outreach, the initial data gathering study collected a significant amount of stakeholder outreach prior to this plan, so back in 2022. We've supplemented that with industry and local community interviews conducted March to July of 2023, a fact-TAC meeting held June 19th of 23, and a general public meeting, which is the one being held today. I should note that the community interviews specifically were with community organizations between March and July of 23. The Freight Data Quality Assessment was completed in August of 2023. And now looking forward, the Network and Facility Issues and Analysis is being submitted. The first portion was submitted in August of 23, and we're going to see a map of some of the identified issues on the next slide. And then the truck parking technical memo map and GIS map will be completed this month. All of those will be available upon the completion of the plan to the public. So the next slide identifies network and facility issues which were identified within the Task 4 portion of this plan. So what I want to call out here is there's a couple different types of issues which we're seeing. First were specific locations, such as generic intersections with challenging truck turn radiuses or points of congestion. There were corridor-based issues, such as freight lines, rail lines that needed improvements on a corridor basis. Or in the case of Cape May County, the Ocean Drive corridor, which requires bridge improvements for higher weight trucks. There were also general regional issues that were identified, issues such as developmental concerns. While these are on the map, they're not specific, they're not necessarily specific to a given location. However, they are more regionally focused. So these were concerns that were brought in, say, about development, for example, or areas of growth. These have all been identified within this map and within the task. So going forward, the next item to cover, we'd really like to get into the public portion of the meeting. And again, if you are currently at home or unable to see this, we are opening up a Slido poll. Slido is a website, www.slido.com, SLIDO.com. And you can take these polls anytime while this presentation is available online. To access this, go to slido.com and type in code 3822628. Again, that's slido.com, 3822628. And what we're looking here is just for general public input on different things that come to mind around South Jersey freight transportation. So, for example, in this first one, things that might come to mind are truck speed limits, truck parking, such as parking on roadways, warehouses and other freight generators creating traffic, or locations of challenging operations for truck drivers due to the infrastructure. I'll wait a moment to see if we get any polls. All right. Let's try for the next one. On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate the quality of freight transportation in the South Jersey region? And the final question prompt. What issues do you believe there are in regional freight transportation? So we've got places for trucks to stop, local congestion caused by trucks on the roadways, long-haul trucks parking, and trucks on local roads. All issues which we've heard over and over throughout this. And lack of sufficient parking and amenities. It's great. Thank you to everyone who participated in this poll. And again, if you are watching this afterwards, as long as this video is available online, you will be able to access the Slido poll. We're really hoping for feedback. If you are watching this portion at a later date as well, we ask that you send an email to the email identified on the South Jersey TPO's website. We're still taking feedback for the study, so if you have feedback on these interactive questions, we'd like to get your feedback. And I'll just put them out there. The first one is truck parking and trucks on local roads are key areas of focus for this study. What local experiences have you had? Second one is where could freight conditions be improved, particularly in the areas of safety or accessibility? So freight isn't just about transporting goods, it's about transporting goods safely and in an equitable manner. And the conditions to the public, the externalities created by that freight, are something that are important to this study as well. With that, we'd like to wrap up this public meeting talking about next steps. This month, we are hard at work completing the truck parking memo, network issues GIS map, and model policies memo. Those will be completed by the end of December 2023. And a draft study will be completed by March 24, with a finalized study by May of 24. That will be available once complete on SJTPO's website. And with that, open up to any questions.
No, thank you very much for the presentation. And again, thanks to everyone who joined. We will be continuing this planning process through April, I believe. Is the be the end date, and be very interested in any comments that you can provide us through the survey that is online. You can also contact SJTPO and ask for Bill Schiavi if you have any questions about freight, and I'll make sure that it gets incorporated into our planning process. Thank you very much, and have a good night.